Emergency Manual Number 1. If the patient is considered L or confirmed L5 terminal, the head of the facility must control the situation before the L5 starts engaging in antisocial behavior before it be hidden from the public. The head of the facility may request backup in order to maintain the secret. The secret maintenance team may request permission to fire from the head of the faculty if needed. The living capture of L5 is preferred, but if it threatens the maintenance of secrecy, L5 may be killed. The protection of the great secret and the prevention of the detection are the main priorities of all times. However, the protection of the secret must be prioritized over preventing detection. Emergency Manual Appendix 9 of FAQ. Can Manual number 34 be applied if an outbreak of L5 happens? Also, yes. I don't know what this means. Toxic chemicals spread to the public. Yes. There's been an accident. Why are there questions? Is there going to be a no? Also, is the head of the facility responsible for making that call? Yes. The decision to execute emergency manual number 44 must be carefully determined as sanction. However, in an emergency, does the head of the facility have the right to make the final decision? Must be sanctioned by an official at all times. However, the facility may petition as to an official. Okay, this is what we need to pay attention to. Number 34. Reprotection or removal of this document is prohibited. You must have approval to read this manual. This manual is only to be executed upon the approval of official. It must be carefully considered. The official must sanction the execution as soon as possible. If the situation degenerates out of control and the official sees that this is the case, the EDA institution must make the final decision in order to protect the secret and prevent its detection by others. The following plan is for the final resolution. Termination of all... Destruction of all evidence inside the facility. Concealment of the execution of this manual. Manual must be executed by the 48 hours within 48 hours of the incident. If the leader is not available, the acting chief will execute the manual. The head of the facility may request the chief as a backup upon execution. If the manual is expected to be executed, the chief may issue preliminary orders. The final resolution must be executed in the following steps. Close off all available traffic routes and disguise the incident as a natural gas disaster. This is after the fact. Traffic unit must be disguised as the police and the quarantine the Hinamizawa hour from the outside. The official explanation is that there is a gas disaster within the area. The equipment for the operation will be stored in a vacant lot where the Yagoichi quarry used to be. The equipment must be routinely checked for usage. Trespassers and runaways who don't comply with instructions may be shot. The approval to use firearms is given by the chief of the secret protection unit or the chief of the traffic unit. Shutting down communications. The communication unit must shut down all communications, including radio, in the Hinamizawa area. They must not take care not to be suspected, and the communications must be cut off for a minimum amount of time. Communications inside the facility is inside the closed traffic zone, so any civilians inside may be shot. The chief of the secret protection may give approval for the use of force to the chief of the communication unit, assembling the infected. The secret protection unit must assemble the infected in a disaster shelter. Refer to assembly. Upon assembly, the unit must count the number of infected, confirm that everyone is there. Be sure not to let the infected level reveal the true nature of the gas disaster. The infected must not take any large personal belongings with them. However, they may take their valuables, including bank books and cash. The infected who refuse to assemble may be shot, but the chief of the secret protection must make a careful decision to do so, terminating the infected. The secret protection unit must immediately terminate all the infected once they are assembled. Ensure that they are not suspicious of any of the disguise. Be sure to act morally in front of them. If any problems occur, the unit has the approval to fire their weapons. The chief of the secret protection unit must make that decision. Bodies with gunshot wounds should not be mixed up with those who have been poisoned. Concealment of the facility. The facility concealment unit must collect the secret items referred in the facility to conceal the evidence. Refer to the appendix for detailed instructions. The research staff in the facility must assist with that operation. The unit must pay attention since they will be handling a number of toxic items. The concealment area must be blockaded completely. The airproof door must be wielded shut and the underground area must be flooded. The entrance to the area will be wielded shut and concealed. The concealment area must be completely wiped away within 3 years. The facility and concealment unit must eliminate all civilians who come near this facility. The use of firearms is not permitted except in emergencies. The chief of the secret protection unit may give the order to fire. Searching the village. The secret protection unit must search the whole village for any survivors. Any person who was not present during the assembly must be searched out. Any survivors found after the termination of the infected may be shot immediately. However, if the survivor is willing to surrender, do not shoot and take him into custody of the secret protection unit. The unit must terminate the captive using the same method as for the other infected. Transferring the operation unit to the general unit. Transfer the job of the general unit to the disaster recovery team. Make sure to not arouse suspicion. Complete withdrawal. After the completion of all operations, the secret protection unit will leave the Hinamizawa area. They must be careful not to be suspected by the general unit. The facility must be guarded until the secret area is totally destroyed. I want to end it, but it's fucking... It feels like it's the end. Because the credits rolled, but there's still more. It's assumed that the pathogen came from the character's ants, the queen of the infected, just like there is a queen ant. Position has been passed on the Frude family. This assumption is made based on a legend of the ancient writings that have been passed down within the village. The infected tend to protect the queen, and that is already confirmed. Also, the queen of the infected can only survive within the village. Probability of an outbreak. The regular patients will become ill when they travel far away from the queen. It is assumed that the further and longer away they are from the queen, the higher chance of them getting sick. One's emotional state is also a great factor. Emotionally unstable patients may experience greater symptoms of homesickness. The most effective method to control the illness is Takano's emotional stability exercise, but if the patient shows no progress, returning to the home of the queen is the only resolution. About the terminal patients. The terminal patients will suffer from an extreme persecution complex. They will also be incapable of functioning within society. Cases of arson and murder have been confirmed, and they present problems for the troops. The record shows the terminal patients appear even in Hinamizawa will not recover even if they relocate near the queen. Therefore, the decision must be made promptly. It is recommended to quarantine the infected before they start behaving irregularly. The troops must search for the soldiers from Hinamizawa and keep them under observation of the physicians. Discussion of the infected groups. If the queen's infected dies, it is predicted that whole groups of the infected will go critical all at once. Terminal symptoms will start showing within 24 hours at the earliest and 48 hours at the latest. For that reason, the final resolution must be made within 48 hours. Based on the size of the village, neither the police or military will be able to take control of the chaos they may bring. Special forces must be prepared to take charge of the situation in case of an emergency. January, the 20th year of the Showa era. Attention, Colonel Koizumi. From Takano Ifumi. Equipment testing company 733. The testing company at 733 must be on standby with mission equipment within 24 hours. The company commander must thoroughly study emergency manual number 34. Select the personnel carefully, prioritizing the protection of secrecy. Also, the test of the effectiveness of the vaccine with the support of the National Research Center Infectious Disease employees with positive immunity. 58th year, document that. Attention equipment testing. That's number 773. C's, Infection Department, number 13, official seal emitted. About the Hinamizawa syndrome. This is information regarding the Hinamizawa syndrome. Hinamizawa syndrome is an infectious disease caused by a virus. There are no special symptoms, but the patient gets ill when their emotional state becomes unstable, or if the queen of the infected dies. The main symptoms of the illness are hallucinations and emotional instability, especially an extreme persecution complex. The patients will not be aware of their own emotional instability. You can only determine the illness based on abnormal trial behavior. In many cases, patients engage in antisocial behavior, which is the biggest problem. Okay. The behavior is caused by a hormonal factor, and this disease mainly affects the mind as opposed to the body. In the end, the patients will experience extreme irritation in their lymph nodes, and they will begin to scratch at their throats and wrists. This is the only symptom that is recognized by the patient. of the virus control. This is an attention notice for the virus control. Pathogen is an airborne infectious virus. There's no effective prevention method, and the inoculation is required. After the mission is over, the staff members must take a medical exam, and with those positive tests must come forward. Be cautious when interacting with the infected villagers. Even after inoculation, any contact with the body fluids will cause the infection. Do not directly contact the villagers. If assumed infected individuals must use the testing syringe and test themselves for the disease. If you feel an extreme irritation in your lymph nodes, it's likely you have terminal symptoms. Get tested immediately in that case. If the test result comes out positive, inject the treatment medication C120. If the irritation persists after 10 minutes, use a second injection. If there's still no change in symptoms, seek treatment at HQ. Do not use the C120 if your test results are not positive. If used on a healthy body, the symptoms of high fever, rash, dilated pupils, and hallucination will be seen within 10 minutes. If this occurs, one must get treated at HQ, so they're gonna die. Government official will explain the situation as crystal ashtrays. The chief is in a panic. He's never heard any of this before. It's no surprise that he's shocked. One girl's death is going to drive 2,000 villagers into a rage. It's surprising enough to know that a disease like that exists. On top of that, it was secretly researched for military purposes, and now there's a horrific situation because of the embezzlement of a faculty leader. Never heard of such a dangerous disease. There's no cure for it? No. According to the National Research Center, they've found a method of treatment for the infected, but they're still not capable of giving that treatment to the whole village. The whole population of the village is going to become terminally ill within the next 24 to 48 hours. This is going to be a disaster. Nami's danger is explained over and over again to the chief of the sanctuary. He doesn't do anything else to ask. Doesn't have anything else to ask, but that doesn't mean he can accept everything. He can't believe that the only way to control the situation is to kill all 2,000 infected villagers. I understand the urgency, but I can't give approval to kill the whole population of the village. Why was this disease being so secretly studied like this anyway? Isn't the responsibility of those who are funding the research? Such dangerous research is not going to cause any profit to this country. This is the 58th year of the Showa era, for crying out loud. According to the document, they intentionally delayed the extermination of the disease so that they'd have more time to study it. On top of that, this chaos was caused by a single researcher. This is an act of terrorism. This is the terror of Tokyo. We better take responsibility for this. Wipe away those who are still haunted by the ghost of war. It's time to clean up the corruption within Tokyo. We will discuss the responsibility in due time, but let's make a prompt decision. Slowly opens his mouth. Prime Minister, please give us your decision. What happens if I don't approve the final resolution? Well, almost 100% of the population in the village will have terminal symptoms within 36 hours. They will become overcome by a persecution complex and will begin behaving erratically. Suicide, murder, arson, robbery, and rape are some of the things we predict will happen. There is no peace and order in this village. It probably won't stay within the village, but spread throughout the area. As a result, the whole world will discover this disaster. Sooner or later, they will find out this mystery disease. This will be a great advantage for the opposition during the next elections. Tokyo will also disapprove the Prime Minister. You need their approval in order to make your political dreams come true. More than anything, the government might reveal the secret research was conducted for military purposes. If this happens, this country will have a crisis of trust. What happens if I approve the final resolution? Well, we will be disguising this as a natural disaster so the opposition may still attack us for our blunder. However, they will not discover the existence of this mysterious disease. If the secret is revealed to the world, we will lose the initiative among the Asian nations. The support from the other nations is a necessity for us. If we lose their trust, the opposition will definitely come into power after the next elections. Japan will be finished. According to the simulation, the balance of power will shift drastically if the second and third parties form a coalition government. The whole world will blame this nation. We'll be suspected by the United Nations for developing NBC weaponry. Our neighboring countries will start to bash. We'll lose our diplomatic relations. The government will be in that. Well, we'll lose all of our address trust. Shit. This is not a problem of just 700 people, huh? But it's too difficult to cover up 2,000 casualties. We must prevent the public from knowing this country was secretly researching biological weapons. I guess I need to wipe the ass of the ghost of the war. Are you sure this resolution can be done secretly? If the mission goes public, it will be even a greater scandal than the research itself. Yes, it will be kept a secret. There are special protection units working on this case. It's trained specifically for situations like this. You have nothing to worry about. Never heard of a mission like this, but it's basically a slaughter by gas, correct? I had no idea the units were specifically trained for that. In order to know how to protect themselves from a gas attack, they must know what gas warfare is all about. In order to know about using gas, they must also know how to slaughter by gas also. The equipment for research is prepared for any kind of attack. He sighs slightly. He can't tell what's moral and immoral anymore. Is any research justified if they're doing it to fight against evil? But that's what being prepared is all about. Some evils must be accepted as a necessity. The ERDA institution was one of such evils. We must make a secret decision in order to keep the research secret. Approving this, that will not happen. Wait, what will not happen? Proving this is going to make us sure the information will not leak. Men with high loyalty who never formed operations such as this, but they are highly experienced, and the secret will not leak from this unit. Their assassination unit, huh? Prime Minister, please give us approval to execute Emergency Manual Number 34. Director General, are you sure this operation will succeed? Are you sure we can successfully control the situation? Can you assure minimum casualties? Yes, sir. Preliminary order is in and all are prepared. We will execute the mission as soon as we get your approval. I can't give approval to slaughter 2,000 innocent civilians. However, as Prime Minister, I have an obligation to minimize the number of casualties. I understand your dilemma. Director General, please make the best effort to minimize the number of victims. If 2,000 people can't be treated, please do what's best to prevent additional victims. Yes, sir. Thank you for your approval. We'll run with positive results. That's if you can call 2,000 deaths a positive result, Kono-kun. Or Kuno-kun? Please set up a meeting with Tokyo soon. I must hear their explanation directly from them. Yes, sir. By the way, did they arrest the facility leader, Irie? No, he committed suicide by taking poison. He was in a rage that his research was being cancelled. He felt as if his life was being declined. But no one really knows what made him commit such a horrible crime. The execution of Manual 34 is approved. June 23rd, the 58th year of the show era. Why is this being typed? Not carry any luggage, or cannot carry any only valuable items. Please not. It's the middle of the night. Countless villagers walking outside. Some are locking up their houses. Some people are waiting by their plants, crying in fear. The elders are not coming out of their village. The village is supposedly isolated after volcanic gas rushed out of the mountains. The number of policemen and military soldiers in the village. There's also a strong smell of sulfur to dispel any doubt that people might have had. The religious elders are convinced that this is the curse of Frederica, who had passed away the day before. They believe that Oyashiro-sama is enraged and that the door to hell is open. Soldiers with gas masks guide the villagers to the evacuation center. Why do you soldiers have guns? Oh, we brought these in order to protect your home or houses after you all are evacuated. We expect looting to take place. No one in Hinamizawa would do something like that. This is platoon number 1. Evacuation is on schedule. Roger that. We will send our platoon. Excuse me, I need to take my grandfather's mortuary tablet. You may take that with you. Please hurry up. Everyone in the village is here. Please come forward if you're unable to walk. The soldier will come and help you. Oyashiro-sama is angry because Rika-chama was murdered. Oyashiro-sama, please forgive our sins. Evacuate like we've done on the drills. The group leaders need to contact the village officials when everyone in your group is here. The poison is coming out from the Gufuchi swamp. Oyashiro-sama is angry. There's so many of us here, we will never make it out of here. Let me die in this village. Don't worry. Helicopters and buses are on their way to transport everyone. You will be safe. Everyone gather in the Forestry Service field office, not the people from District 4. You're supposed to go to the community center behind the post office. It's exactly the same as the emergency drill. Please calm down and go to your evacuation point. Move as a group. Every person matters. Please stay with your group. You will come home safely. The villagers can't see the expressions under the soldiers' gas masks. They wonder what kind of faces they have under the masks. They are lying to the villagers, knowing that they will never come back to their homes again. One of the troops cries under his mask, but the villagers will never see his tears. Please go back. You can't take your own vehicle to evacuate. There's gas ahead of the village and it's extremely dangerous. Can't you smell the sulfur? Some people try to leave in their cars so they can take large items with them. However, the traffic unit is blocking their way out. The gas mask of the troopers smell the sulfur and return to obey their instructions. Some of them try to contact Okinomiya, but the phones will not connect. The line is busy no matter how many times. Didn't we just read this in the Rule 34? They could have just said they executed the plan, and I would have known exactly what was going on. Some of them were capable of using the radio. They try to figure out the situation outside the village, but all they hear is a loud static noise. The same with the TV. They can't contact anyone outside the village, so they are totally isolated. There's nothing but the instructions of the police and the military to rely on. They all head toward the light, never doubting that they will be safe there. One old war veteran listens to the noise from the radio and mutters, "This is exactly how it sounded when the Americans interrupted the radio during the war." He's absolutely right. However, he turns off his radio when his son urges him to evacuate. The villagers are gathered at their evacuation points. Some of them are in the school, and some of them are in the community center. They are told to stay in the building until the transportation vehicle arrives. Soldiers tell them they can stay inside to keep track of the number of evacuees. Please close all of the windows to prevent gas poisoning. We will seal the windows to be safe on the safe side. Please cooperate with us. Okay, let's help them. People start to seal the windows and the vents with duct tape handed out by the troops. They completely seal every opening as they hear the disquieting conversation of the soldiers. See them now, but everyone is wide awake with fear. They're having an extremely long night. Ironically, the end to their night is almost here. This is all Oyashiro-sama's curse. Rika-chama, Rika-chama, Oyashiro-sama, Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama demoned away those kids in the Fruit Shrine because he's angry. The Fruit Shrine was swallowed by the world of the demons that day. The demons ate her organs. They start saying that the gas disaster was caused by the curse of Oyashiro-sama, and Rika's death was the mysterious disappearance of her friends, and the detectives are also a result of this curse. People start talking, but they have no idea that Keiichi and his friends' short battle ended or sealed their fate for this night. The religious people are convinced that the children and the detectives went missing because they volunteered to become a sacrifice and to calm Oyashiro-sama's anger after Rika's death. They don't know the truth. They can't know. No one realizes that Keiichi and his friends' efforts are now in vain. That's right. In Hinamizawa, everything is caused by Oyashiro-sama. Why does it have to be this way? Before the series of mysterious deaths occurred in the village, no one really used the term the curse of Oyashiro-sama that frequently. Who set this village up? People in this village were set up to believe that the curse of Oyashiro-sama happens every year. They are too superstitious. Major, we have finished gathering the villagers. The last family finally reached the assembly point. We got everyone. Good. This is it. The curse of Oyashiro-sama is becoming a reality tonight. We're drifting away. Furude Rika's organs, Oyashiro-sama is punishing this village. The curses of the past 5 years are culminating into the biggest punishment of all. This is not just a mysterious chain of murders. This is a punishment from an enraged god. Get it started. This is the company commander. Let's give them 1 minute of silence. Major, will you give us another minute? Do what you like. Kano laughs at him. The company commander makes the sign of the cross and talks. Dear Heavenly Father, please guide these innocent people to their sacrificial act will save the lives of many others to come. Please forgive us for committing this sin. Please forget us for being here today. The company commander is not a Christian. He doesn't follow any religion. However, he prays because he feels the need to ask someone for forgiveness. He's not sure if he's saying it right, but he still prays to God. He asks for forgiveness for committing this sin. He continues to pray. Kana is speaking in a soft voice. She's talking to herself. For ye know not what your Lord doth come, but know this, that if a good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house broken into. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. One guy hears her mutter. That's from the Gospel of Matthew. Is it? My grandfather always taught me that. He was telling me to work hard every day because you'll never know when you'll be rewarded. Is this a reward for you? Yes. Although you may never understand this. Excuse my rudeness, but I believe that the descent of God is a merciful thing. I think what you're saying is inappropriate at a time like this. He tells her that using that verse of the Bible is not appropriate for this time. However, Takano laughs at him. I'm sorry, but you have no right to judge. I'm becoming a god tonight. The moment of silence is over. The silence is over. Execute the operation now. The order is as hollow and reluctant as any order can possibly be. People are packed inside the classroom. They are afraid. Troops close the door to the classroom. People can't understand why they are doing this. They don't feel any suspicion. One guy walks to the door and tries to open it because it's too hot inside the room. However, he collapses suddenly. His wife tries to walk up to him and help him, but she also collapses all of a sudden. Then, other people also start collapsing around the room. It's very strange. How can this be explained? This would be so amusing if they were dominoes, but they're humans. People sitting by the window to see the strange event happen. They open their eyes and try to understand what's going on. The door opens slightly and someone throws 3 spray cans into the room. More people start to collapse, even the people who are watching them. This is not something that's only going on in this room. The same thing is happening in the other rooms too. It is going on in all the evacuation centers. People's dreams, their hopes, and their futures are being taken away so easily and quickly. There's a commotion in the reception room by the principal's office. Someone figured out what's going on, broke the seal of the window, and ran outside the room. The other people try to peel off the seal too, but they collapse in a matter of seconds. Fugitives to the reception room. 4 people are loose. You have approval to fire. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Jesus Christ. You couldn't have, taken them off one shot at a time? They just, sprayed and prayed. Shoot the court. People tried to escape in the back. The sound of the gunshot echoes in the silence. The noise is so cruel. They helplessly fall on the ground. Their death is so pitiful compared to the silent deaths of the others. The local police officer was one of the victims. He tries to shoot back at them with his gun. The shots could be heard throughout the building. The soldiers hide in the shadows as they hear the noise. The officer seizes his chance and runs away toward the gate, but that is just a waste of time. The range of their automatic weapons is longer than the length of the school field, and they are well-trained professionals. It is nothing for them to shoot him from a distance. They have no choice. Either they die from the gas without realizing that they're being killed, or they find out about the mission and are shot. What happened? Did they fight back? What's wrong? We've shot all the fugitives. One of the local policemen shot back. Collect those bodies. Not mix them up with the other corpses. Soldiers walk to the 4 fallen bodies. They need to make sure that they are all dead and not injured. I like the holy music that plays. This is Platoon 1. We finished the termination. 4 escaped, and they were killed. This is Platoon 2. We finished the termination. No one escaped. Number 3, more than 10 escaped. We're currently sweeping them out. It will be over soon. Platoon 4, we finished the termination. No one escaped. Platoon 3, we've killed all 13 fugitives. More than 10 escaped. Termination is completed. Roger. Start counting the bodies. Make sure the total matches the original number taken earlier tonight. Takano is laughing alone inside of the vehicle. Takano doesn't physically see the people dying silently, but she saw it. She saw countless people dying without realization. She saw in her mind. Takano waves her arms in the air. No one is watching her, but no one would understand what she's doing even if they saw her. She's waving her baton. She pretends that she's the conductor of this silent funeral march. Major, we have completed the termination. We're going to reconnect the phone lines. Sure, go ahead. This is the Facility Concealment Unit. We've taken out all the secret items and wielded the entrance shut. We're currently flooding the underground facility. This is the traffic unit. Everything is proceeding as scheduled. This is the communication unit. We've reconnected the phone lines. The phone facility is back to normal. Gana's not paying attention to those reports. She continues to sing the melody of the orchestra. One operator asks her, "You seem to be in a good mood." "Sure. I feel so good. I bet you can't hear this. This hymn that glorifies God." "A hymn?" Kana laughs loudly, spreading her arms open wide. "That's right. The hymn. A new god has descended to this village. There was no god in Hinamizawa. Oyashiro-sama was just a name. This was a rural village with no real god. But I brought a god back to this place. You understand what that means? I bet you don't. How many gods in this world have the power to curse people? How many of them can challenge people? None of them. But I did it." Takano laughs as if she's the only one who understands what she's saying. None of the operators in the car can understand her laughter. Takano is satisfied to know that they don't understand her. A god is not a god without a curse. Gods are feared because of their curse, and they're worshipped because they're feared. That's the truth about gods. If faith is what creates a god, then there's no need for a curse. But the ancient gods all cursed humans. What is the god's curse? It is the proof of being a real god. The gods are not gods if they don't curse people. I found evidence of the existence of God in this poor village. I thought this was a message from heaven. Hinamizawa was without a god for 100 years until the end of the dam conflict. I believe it was my mission to revive the god's existence in this village. Heaven supported me and gave me great powers. Heaven has blessed me with a chance to create the curse. All of those incidents became the fruit of the curse. Do you understand? Tonight is the night of the harvest. This is the final curse of the god. From this day onward, Oyashiro-sama will be a real god. You may not see it now, but you'll understand someday. You'll see how great this plan was. This night is going to be a legend. God curses. I make that curse happen. I'm the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Worship me and be fearful of me. I'm creating not only death, I'm writing history. History will speak of the curse and remember my existence forever. I'm the curse itself. I'm beyond this flesh. My legend will endure forever beyond my life. My life is eternal now. Curse yourselves and curse your powerlessness. Realize how great I am. I'm Oyashiro-sama. I'm a god now. My flesh may die eventually, but I'll remain in this world forever. How did she, become a military person? I feel like she's a little bit off the rocker to become a military person. Unless she, became that way. How would you even start that up? New tip. The end of a puzzle game. Scenario jump mode. Sweet. The tips reading room has been unlocked. Read all the tips that you've obtained. Staff room? Wait, is that the freaking room? Wait. Oh, do I get a new title screen? Oh, I do. Sweet. Hey, that's the end. Next episode, I'll have to split this into 2 episodes because I ran a little long, as always the last episode does. I should have known that and not started this so late at night. It's 5 in the morning and I need to go to work tomorrow. So, I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and I'm going to render this while I sleep, and then upload it in the morning when I get up, hopefully. Interesting stuff. I think my question about Satoshi got answered. They killed him because he was part of an L2 infection. So he was... I don't know what happened or why. Because, I don't think he planned on leaving. So I don't know why he left. He must have been told that, But yeah, if he was in the village, he should have been fine. basically the idea is that they want to terminate everybody in the village. That's the whole goal because all of them are infected, which could very well be true. But there was no reason to murder Satoshi unless he was planning on leaving anyway. And if he was planning on leaving, then they would kill him. But why would he plan on leaving rather than just staying there and buying the gift for Satoko and coming back? Is my question, right? Like, why would he want to leave? Um, and then it's also kind of weird to say that there's just like a disease and that's what's been happening. Um, I guess it's I guess it's a good explanation. Because if they would have been like, oh, they're all crazy, that would have been a worse explanation. So I like that they're all kind of sick and that if Rika dies, everybody dies, which is weird to me that would there would be. I feel like maybe they find a cure or something in the next one, right? I feel like that's the one solution, right? Is like what's his name gets stopped every time right before he's about to find a cure. So like if they can figure out what's going on and stop it, then EDA will develop a cure and save everybody, and it'll live happily ever after. But EDA's never given enough time in any of the other stories. And now that we know who it is, we know it's Takano now who's doing everything. The next world should be like easy. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Interesting. This has been an interesting game. I feel like I know everything now, so it's almost like okay, I know. Yeah, I know what's going on. There's not really there's not really anything that I don't know. This is all the answers. They've given us all the answers. Now it's how do we find a happy ending, right? Like because there's not a happy ending in this one, but then the next one's gonna be happy, or I believe. I think. I I would I would be very interested if they ended it in anything but a happy ending, because I feel like that's where this is going. It's like she's gonna live off with her friends. I feel like Hanyu shouldn't want to move on, right? Well, I guess if Rika keeps doing this, then she'll keep losing time, and then she won't be able to survive ever. Um, but I feel like with Rika, if she just stays with Rika, she gets infinite amount of time to just live and hang out with Rika. But Rika moves on, she's gonna die in like 90 years. So then, um, what's her name's gonna not be able to live with anybody for another couple of years. But maybe she'll be happy because she'll get to see Rika's kids grow up from the. I don't know. Anyway, I'm done kind of talking. I gotta get to bed. We'll do the tip section next. Hopefully, I can get that out pretty fast because these two are going to be uploaded one right after another, and then I have another Dicey Dungeons episode, and then I'll upload the tips one right after that. And hopefully that's enough. Anyway, I hope to see you guys in the next episode, whenever that may be. Thank you guys for sticking with me this long, and I appreciate you. I don't know. I just appreciate. I don't know. It takes a lot of dedication to continue watching somebody for a long time, and I just want to know. I just want you guys to know that I appreciate you all, and I see you guys on the like button. And like it's weird. I used to get like one or two views on videos, and now I'm getting like 20, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like it just feels crazy. Um, it's not just my Vagante videos that are getting like 100,000 million views. Um, I say 100,000 million, but it's just like 1,000. But it feels like a lot. I remember uploading Vagante freaking the f out, and then I'd upload something like this, and then it would get no attention. But now it's like finally getting attention, and I like visual novel stuff. So maybe we continue and figure out where we're going next. I do want to go and play that one game with the everything where everything's a CG. That looked interesting. This is definitely the longest visual novel I've played. I don't know if I'll ever find a visual novel that's longer than Higurashi When They Cry, and that's partly because it's like 9 games. Um, it's not. It's like 7, I think. I think. Right? This next one that we're gonna. This is 6, and the next one's 7. Is that correct? I don't know. But we're almost done. I've almost gotten through it. I wanted to. I'm gonna keep talking because I don't know how to end sentences. But I wanted to say I wanted to see this anime like for a long time. Like I was watching horror anime for a long time, and I had never seen this, and this was like something I was gonna watch, and I was gonna just watch it one day, and I watched like part of the first episode, and I was like, I'm gonna watch it another time because I got work to do, and then like that, I'm glad I didn't watch it because now I got to play the visual novel, which is like a lot more in depth. I'm sure. I'm curious. I think after this, we definitely kind of I don't know. I mentioned it before, but I think we watch videos, right? Where I'll put my face, I'll put a timestamp on the video, and then I'll show, and then like every so often I'll show like a quick snapshot of what I'm watching, so that way you guys can like sync up and watch the anime with me. And then we'll just watch the anime together. I feel like that'd be cool. I'll just turn off the sound for you guys, and then just like watch the anime and give you a timestamp, and then we'll like both react. But you'll have to see my stupid face because that'll be like the only thing that you would watch that video for is to see my reaction to different things. And I would also maybe talk over it a lot. So I don't know. I don't know. Would you guys enjoy me talking over the anime and making reactions? I know I already talked to. I know Insult was talking about it and said that it might be interesting. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I'm gonna stop talking now so I can get to bed and actually go and be productive at work tomorrow. I got so much to do. I'm very busy. um, I hope to see you guys in the next episode, and peace out, you guys.